Next up is a movie, French film called When Fall is Coming. Here is the official plot synopsis. Quote, loving grandmother Michelle is enjoying a peaceful retirement in Burgundy when her antagonistic daughter and young grandson come to visit. Family ties are tested in this twisty and destabilizing thriller from master stylist François Ozon. Ozon? I don't know how to pronounce the name, and I apologize. Ozon. I should have actually looked at YouTube to see the proper pronunciation. It's in theaters April 4th. The Rotten Tomatoes is 92%. I have to look up. I did not put the name of the actress. I believe her name is Helen Vincent. Or actually, Eric, when a name is spelled Helen with an E, is it Helene Vincent or Helen Vincent? When something like that. What would you call? Where would you side? Would you side on
It's
Helene or
impossible to say. So many people spell names differently and pronounce them differently. There's no, it's kind of like the English language. There's no rules. It's just, it's your name, however you want to pronounce it. That's how it should be pronounced. Unfortunately, we don't have, you know, we can't talk to the person always and say, how do you pronounce your name?
okay, so it's Helene. I'm going to say Helene Vincent. She plays Michelle. She's the grandmother in When
Helena,
Fall is Coming.
maybe? That that
I
seems like
don't
it
know.
makes sense.
Let's just
Helena.
say, yeah, we'll do the middle, and I'll just make sure that I'm hey,
Yeah.
caveat is I'm wrong. Okay, Helene Vincent. She plays
There you go.
Grandma Michelle. When she realizes her daughter, she comes. Supposedly the grandmother, the daughter comes home to visit the mother. Okay, the daughter has a son, so that's Michelle's grandson, and she's so attached to this grandson. She's looking forward to having a week with the grandson for vacation in her retirement home in Burgundy. She's looking forward to it. Unfortunately, her daughter is a stick in the mud. Her daughter, for some reason, does not show her mother any kind of respect or love. Her daughter's always on the phone, and she tells, due to some mishap regarding mushrooms, okay, over dinner, the daughter decides not to have her son stay with the grandmother. And Michelle is thrown for a loop because she's elderly now and she just wants to spend some quality time with her grandson. And now that's taken away from her. And what is she going to do about it? Now, coincidentally, her best friend and neighbor is they have morning walks, they have a nice situation going, they have a really good friendship. Her best friend's son has recently been released from prison. And her best friend's son's a little bit possibly a troublemaker. He's a former felon. And then she ends up hiring that former felon, to do work on our house. So the puzzle pieces are set in motion. She's not seeing her grandson. She doesn't get along with her daughter. Again, that grandmother Michelle, played by Helene Vincent, she might have a dark past. You don't know what it is. And things are set in motion. And just remember the ambition behind When Fall is Coming is Michelle's absolute yearning to see her grandson and to spend some more quality time with her grandson as much as possible. I'm not going to spoil the rest of the movie. Just know that I'm giving you guys that sort of puzzle pieces all across the board, and you can fit them together. There's one big caveat of this movie, however. It's a very subtly told movie. If you want everything spelled out for you, well, you're not going to get it. And Eric, I don't know if this is a big thing for you. When you see a mystery thriller, Eric, and the director, he or she, they will leave out certain conversations or pieces to the puzzle before the puzzle's actually solved. How do you feel like when you look at the end and you see the entire puzzle, but the director, he or she, took certain pieces of the puzzle out along the story and is assuming that they didn't need it, but you really did need it. Do you get frustrated when not all of the evidence is shown at the end of the movie? That's what I'm asking you.
Are we talking about
Like a
like
mystery thriller.
at the end of the movie there's a twist and then they show you the pieces they should have shown you along the way, but they hid it because they wanted to have that twist at the end?
Right. And their
That's
excuse is
annoying.
like,
I
okay,
hate that.
okay. You
That's what you call cheating.
okay,
If you gotta take out key information only to show you at
but
the end,
devil's advocate,
that means
Eric.
you don't have a twist. That means
Devil's advocate. Well, Eric, I'm a filmmaker. I'm showing you just a flavor of the story, and it's very subtly inferred. And you can put the pieces together because you're an adult. What kind of that's the devil's advocate. What would you say to that? That's still
So if
cheating, right?
so if it's a situation like if it's a situation where they're trying to manufacture a twist, that's just garbage.
Okay.
You're just a
Okay.
bad storyteller.
That doesn't happen with this,
If
but
it's a situation where they're leaving out bits because they want you to reflect on things, and or maybe they tell a story and then they leave off the final thing that happened because they know that they've prepared you to know what happens after that. Like that's a different situation. But if they're just trying to manufacture a twist and hiding information, it's cheating.
Eric, I think it's a little bit halfway with your observation with When Fall is Coming, there are hints that are left out and people will find that frustrating, but you as a viewer are supposed to actually fill in the pieces yourself because it's pretty obvious what the actual puzzle is. So it's one of those things, Eric, where
Oh, so they're not trying to do a twist, like they're projecting what the ending is. They're just kind of leaving stuff out for you to.
that's right, Eric. It's like, for
Okay, yeah,
example, if you
that's a different thing. I thought
okay.
you were talking about like Fight Club, for instance. Like they give you all the
Oh,
clues up
right,
until
sure,
the
of course.
twist.
Yeah.
Like if they kept all that stuff out and then threw it in at the end, like, haha, you didn't figure it out. I was like, of course I didn't. You didn't tell me anything.
It's one of those things where you actually, at the end, you understand what's going on. But personally, I would have liked to have those scenes into the puzzle. But
Yeah.
even though I know exactly what the director, François Ozon, is trying to do at the end, I understand it. I would have liked a couple of those pieces in. But that is the allure of When Fall is Coming. It's a weird thing. I wanted those scenes, but then I understand where the director was going. He wanted to keep a couple of those pieces out and actually have the viewers give their own interpretation regarding the grandmother Michelle. And there will be a lot of conversations about, is Michelle a really wonderful, nice, loving grandmother, or is she not? So it's a thriller that is not like a Brian De Palma in your face, gory slasher, just provocative thriller. It's not like that. It's more of a quiet thriller where it's very subtle, and I appreciated it. And I actually really enjoyed When Fall is Coming. I don't know if I'm gonna roundly recommend it for people to say, hey, if you like mystery thrillers, go see When Fall is Coming. I would just say, because if you want a subtle touch to your mystery thriller slash family drama, When Fall is Coming is a pretty good film. I'm giving When Fall is Coming in theaters starting April 4th, 102 minutes, not rated. By the way, Rotten Tomatoes, 92% currently. I'm giving When Fall is Coming 4 stars.
So
Really
real
enjoyed it.
quick, just to go back on what you were saying. So this is more like an unreliable narrator thing, where like you get one person's perspective and it's leaving stuff out because that's their perspective, and you get someone else's perspective and that's different because that's how they saw thing. Is that
Well,
kind of
yeah, a little bit like that. It's like, for example, most of the movie is centered through the POV of, like you said, the grandmother, Michelle. You see things from her POV. So when you're always following her, you're empathizing or sympathizing with her situation. And then when things go on, you're wondering, did she have anything to do with that? Because I didn't see that scene. Because you're just in her. There's a lot of things that she keeps secrets, and then keeps secrets from the viewer as well. So a little
okay?
bit of that unreliable narrator touch. But I think ultimately it's
Okay.
also a creative flourish that some people will really love, and
Okay.
some
Yeah,
people.
that's not nearly as annoying as what I thought you were saying earlier.
Okay, okay.
The thing I thought you were saying earlier is like if that's how you're telling a story, just don't. But this sounds a little more nuanced than that.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.